Whoa, that's a GM intrusion. Okay, so the ground starts to shake and the walls begin to crumble.
Wait! Can I use an XP point to roll again?
You sure you want to do that? Look, this is the third time this game you're doing this, so I just want to make sure. Everyone else is at least 2 character advancements ahead of you.
Yeah, I've had a good deal of bad luck. But I don't want everyone else to suffer because of it.
Yeah, well, Malcolm doesn't seem to have that problem. In fact, win or lose, he never rerolls his dice, no matter the consequences.
Why would I hamstring my character just to reroll 1 die? If we die, whatever. It's the narrator's fault.
Hey, wait, that's not true.
Well, I'm not a selfish jerk.
It's not about being selfish, okay? It's about understanding the rules of the game and being smart.
Whoa. Guys, hey, let's all calm down. Hey, everybody. You guys know me. I love playing role-playing games. Let's talk about those. Hey, the one I'm into right now is the Cypher system. Diamond Throne, Numenera, and you know what? A friend of mine said they wanted to start running Old Gods of Appalachia, and I am pretty excited to see what he comes up with. So just recently, I made a breakdown of the Cypher system, and what I liked, what I disliked. Overall, I thought it was amazing. Still, there are some things I thought could be better, so I tweaked the rules here and there to make it a game that I would want to play all the time. Now, I know there are plenty of people out there who think the rules are perfect as is. And I hear you. You've been commenting a lot on my Cypher review, so thank you for telling me what you think. Y'all make some compelling arguments. But if you do think that maybe the experience system needs a little revision, then this is the place for you. Let me show you what I've done. But before we go down that road, we have to do a quick review of how the experience system works in the game, because tinkering with something you don't understand is that's how you lose fingers, guys. This is a low XP system. It only takes 4 points to gain a character advancement. There are 4 character advancements you need to get a tier, and there are 6 tiers. Unlike other game systems, these costs never increase as you become more powerful. Getting 1 or 2 XP per game seems fair to me, considering how easy it is to increase a character's power. But the game believes that 2 to 4 per session is appropriate, and another 2 between sessions. I'm not sure why players get XP when they don't play, but that's what the book recommends right here. It's strange, it doesn't describe how you get XP between sessions. So if that's the case, we should dive into how the book actually prescribes XP. GM intrusions. These are unexpected complications for a character or characters. Maybe the entire party. So how do they differ from just the plot or the story that you wrote? For the most part, adventures handle Game Master intrusions by just adding more creatures halfway through the combat. Most GM intrusions are also written right into the plot. You can see them here in the book. In another example, it seems to be just an excuse for the narrator to mess with the players, like making their most used item suddenly not work, so they have to come up with another solution to a problem. In any case, this video is about experience points. So if you want me to make a full breakdown of GM and player intrusions, yeah, there are player intrusions, give me a comment, or you know what? Bribe me with money on Patreon. I do stuff for money. We all do stuff for money. Once you declare a GM intrusion, the affected player, or rather, the most affected player, gets 2 experience points, 1 to keep and 1 to give to a player of their choice. When a player gives another player XP in this way, everyone at the table must stop and start postulating if the 2 players are actually in love, which we all know that they are, and they probably kiss when we're not looking. The affected player may refuse the GM intrusion, in which case they do not get 2 XP and must give up an XP as a cost to negate it. If a player rolls a 1 on a d20, that also triggers a GM intrusion, but they don't get any XP when this happens. Like everything in life, this has some positives and negatives. It's great that a narrator gets a good amount of control over who gets experience. They get to say when the intrusions happen, what they're about, and who's the primary benefactor, so they can help struggling characters catch up. Possible downside, though, is that a player who is already low on XP may feel targeted by a narrator or intrusions. This may even backfire as a struggling character spends their already dwindling experience points to stave off these intrusions. Character arcs are personal stories a player creates for their characters, things that players want for their characters to experience during a campaign, and the narrator implements them, under pain of death. As a PC pursues leads and resolves steps in their personal character arc, they gain 2 XP, 2 XP per step. I'm all for players taking personal responsibility for character growth, and it can really get them invested and involved in the game. So I think this is a super great rule. I love it. I just hope that they don't constantly pursue their own stories, getting in the way of other people's stories and the main story. A narrator needs to be focused and fair when giving each player their time in the spotlight. Finally, a narrator can award XP for tasks they accomplish in-game. Game Master Awards. It gives a strong suggestion that these rewards should be for discovery, such as finding a cool location, understanding new lore, or recovering artifacts. And for artifacts, the parties should receive an amount of XP equal to the artifact level, spread equally among them. Other discoveries, everything else in the game, gives all of the PCs involved 1 experience point. The narrator can also give out XP rewards for advancing the story or going out of their way to accomplish something noteworthy or altruistic. Again, 1 XP for all characters involved. The positives here are pretty self-explanatory. The players will be eager to learn and explore your world. This is perfect for world-building narrators who are anxious to reveal the secrets of their creation. And this also works well for narrators that want to give out XP for pursuing the adventure and doing the things necessary to make the game enjoyable for everyone involved. The negatives here are pretty trivial for all aspects except for the artifact gain. I got a little problem with the artifacts. See, our artifacts already give substantial gains in power to the party, right? They have cool special abilities that the party can now use to their advantage. And to give XP on top of that might escalate power too fast. Can I pause here for a second? You know, I know, I don't have a pause button on this side of the video. It's a metaphor, okay? I want to go off topic for a bit. You know what? So you can't even answer me, so I'm just going to do it. Now, I know the book doesn't explicitly say this, but I really believe Game Master Awards should change depending on the genre of the game you're playing. Getting experience for discovery is perfect for a game like Numenera, whose core is about discovery. But in another game genre, this might not fit so well and should be replaced. For example, the crux of a superhero game might be about saving lives, so prioritizing innocent life over defeating the villain should give the players experience points. In a romance game, making meaningful connections, that should give you experience. In a detective game, finding meaningful clues, so on and so forth for all manner of game genres. You might think, with so many ways to gain XP, that the players might fly through their tiers pretty fast. But the game tries to incentivize other ways to spend your experience. Emphasis on tries, but we'll get into that later. In addition to character advancement, a player can spend their character's experience on immediate, short, medium, and long-term benefits. Immediate benefits are things that will help out the character in the moment. The most notable and used of this is, of course, the reroll. A character can spend an XP point to reroll any die in the game, even ones they didn't make. While this includes the Game Master, remember, in Cipher, the Game Master doesn't roll often. He doesn't roll attack rolls. Players roll defense rolls, right? PCs can also spend experience points to activate player intrusions. These are special powers that each type gets that can change the game to their benefit. Every type has different intrusions that they can rely on. Lastly, a PC can spend XP to deny or negate the effects of a GM intrusion. Like I said before. You paying attention? Come on. Short and medium term benefits are things that'll help out a character for a single adventure arc. The example the book gives is understanding the computers of a single corporation, or being able to survive and climb through a specific mountainous region. This could be explained that the character had always had this knowledge. It's part of their background. It was not revealed until now. Or that something has happened to the character to give them this bonus. Like a powerful psychic gave them this ability, just shoved it into their brain, and their brain can't handle it all, so the skill is fading, or the power is fading. That's right. You can even get a new superpower or a piece of equipment that lasts for only this short amount of time. In any case, a short or medium-term benefit should cost 2 experience points. Long-term benefits are things that might last a character for the rest of their life. This could be a fancy title, a home or base of operations, a new contact, or an influx of money. And in some versions of Cypher, like Numenera, a PC can even gain an artifact. Every long-term advancement costs 3 experience points. Along with character advancement, these are the ways that you can spend XP in the Cypher system. The book points out that spending all of your XP on character advancement isn't the only way to measure achievement in the game, and a character with a blend of other benefits will be interesting in different ways. But then also stresses the importance of keeping all of the players more or less in the same power level when it comes to their tiers. So that's great on paper. How does it work in the game when you're actually running it? Well, I want to tell you my experiences with Cypher and how things have played out with the different groups I've narrated for. Very few players cared to look at any use of XP other than re-rolling failed dice rolls and character advancement. Look, I've tried. I've given them handouts. I've tried to give incentives to spending XP in other ways, carrot and stick. But even if they are cajoled into doing that sort of thing in the moment, they soon forget and go back to old habits. This leads to one of 2 outcomes. Characters that tier up fast because they refuse to spend XP on anything other than their own power level, and characters constantly spending XP to re-roll failed dice rolls because they're afraid of failure. Trying to figure out who needed XP and who had enough was also a chore, as I had to constantly check characters between games. So I had to do something about it. I tinkered with the rules. You may not have the same problem with your players. You may think the XP system as written is excellent. And God bless you, brothers and sisters. It's great when you don't have to do extra work to make the game fun. But for those of you who feel the same frustration I do, I want you to come along with me as I implement some new rules and make the game a little more fun for myself and my players. The first thing I did was take a page out of Dungeons & Dragons and implement a milestone system. Characters may no longer spend XP on character advancement. Instead, when the party hits a certain part of the story, they all gain character advancement. This keeps everyone at the same power level, and I don't have to check sheets to make sure someone has less or more XP than another character. I still gave out XP, but they can only be used for immediate, short, medium, and long-term benefits. I also capped it at 5, since some players started hoarding XP instead of spending it. Capping XP incentivized them spending it so they can continue to grow. Any XP gained after 5 was simply lost. I call this the milestone method after its core change. And the solution worked. It was easy to implement, and I recommend it because it doesn't change the old system too much. There were a couple downsides though. Players were able to cap their XP pretty fast using the current system of giving out XP, so I had to slow that down. With so much XP, the players started prioritizing re-rolling any failure, so it was less likely that a character was to fail. Even though I liked the milestone method, I thought I could do a little better, so I started tinkering again and came up with the hero point method. This is inspired on the Force Point rule from Fantasy Flight's version of Star Wars the RPG. You start by getting 5 tokens, coins, counters, something with 2 different faces. One side represents the PC's agency, the other side represents the narrator's agency. Start the game with 3 on the PC side and 2 on the narrator side. During the game, any player can spend 1 to 3 hero points with the PC side face up to gain any of the benefits you can spend XP on in equal measure, other than character advancement. This will flip that many tokens from the PC side to the narrator side. The narrator can also spend tokens to create Game Master intrusions by flipping 2 tokens back to the player side. A narrator cannot create a GM intrusion if there are no tokens to flip. So, if there are no tokens on the narrator side, the players have successfully bogarted the narrator from making any more additions to the game. A narrator may also flip a token back to the player side for character arc steps, Game Master awards, but I wouldn't do more than 1 or 2 per award. Now, when it comes to GM intrusions caused by a player rolling a 1, you'll find that a player will want to instantly re-roll these if there are any tokens ready. So, I added this rule to give players a reason to keep 1s. If a player rolls a 1 and keeps it, causing a GM intrusion, flip a token from the narrator side to the PC side. If a player rolls a 1 and there are not tokens for the narrator to flip, the intrusion still happens, since the player, not the narrator, is triggering the event. Again, character advancement is handled strictly through milestone, so as the narrator, I don't have to micromanage where each character is in their character growth, at least where the numbers are concerned. The hero point method was an improvement from the milestone method for sure. Rerolling was happening at a smaller and more manageable rate, and players had to work together and discuss how they wanted to spend their dwindling hero points because they all had to share them. But it wasn't perfect. Some players saw the community hero point pool as the commons, and they had to graze their sheep there before other players grazed theirs, leading to the hero pool almost always being maxed out on the narrator side. So, it was time for a new method. This one I call the personal point method. I'm still workshopping this name, so if you got a better one, get in the comments. Get out a number of those hero tokens equal to the number of your players plus 1. This time, the token has a PC side and a null side. Each player gets 1 token, and the final token sits in the center of the table and is owned by all the players. Start all of them on the PC side. A PC can flip their hero token for an immediate benefit. They may also use the community token with permission from the rest of the players. A PC can use their own token plus the community token for a short or medium-term benefit with the permission of the rest of the players. Long-term benefits are not purchased with hero tokens. They will be covered a little later. When a narrator gives out a GM intrusion, they pick the player it affects the most. That player flips their token from the null side to the player side and picks 1 other token on the table to do the same. A Game Master can give out an intrusion even if there are no null side tokens, because null just means the players can't use them. If a player rolls a 1 and that results in a GM intrusion, that player may flip their token or the community token back to the PC side. If a PC completes a step in their character arc, that character may flip their token or the community token to the PC side. If the party gains a Game Master award, they may, as a group, choose 2 tokens owned by any player or the community token and flip it to the PC side. If all the tokens that could be flipped to the PC side are already there, and the players gain the ability to flip a token, well, nothing happens. Long-term benefits and character advancements are now both handled by milestone achievements, either through completion of story arcs or character arcs, or as rewards for good, solid roleplay. That's right, long-term benefits are now in a place I thought they should have been all along. If a player does something in the game, they get to benefit from it, not just because they have points. If you want to get knighted by a king, do something for that king to give you that honor. The best way to do this is by the resolution of a character arc. If a player resolves a character arc, give them a long-term benefit that's associated with what they did. Now I have a confession. I haven't play tested this one yet, but I will for my next game, and I have high hopes for it, and I think it will solve most of my problems with all of the previous methods, but only time will tell. My biggest fear is that it's such a departure from the actual rules it might turn some people off who are already used to playing the game a certain way. But within my own group, I know they will adapt to it very fast and put it through its paces. Now it's up to you. I've got my new rules in a document and a link in the description. You can download it, read it, and you know what? Put it in one of your own games or iterate on it and come up with your own method. No matter what you do, I want to hear what you did. So, what do you think of these rules? Will you be using them? Or do you think I did a lot of work for nothing? What did I miss? How can we take this to the next level? I want to hear from you. Also, I want to thank you all for making my previous Cypher video a hit and encouraging me to make more. I'll be doing just that. If you want to support me, please join my Patreon, buy me a coffee. I really appreciate all your support. Until next time, go roll some dice.